Hello and welcome to another episode of Yeah We Read It. I'm one of your hosts, Meggie.
And I'm also one of your hosts, the other host, if you will. My name is Laura.
And we are doing a fun, fancy one-off book this time. We are doing Casey McQuiston's Red, White, and Royal Blue. I gotta say it, probably my favorite book that we've read for the podcast. I've actually completely forgotten how much I loved legitimate romance books.
Yeah, no, I felt like this was such a good palate cleanser for me after Twilight, which I didn't feel like was very romantic in any way, shape, or form. So to have something that was just like a sheer romance, like there's no, like, the stakes are high, but there's nothing like tragic about anything. Like nobody's getting like hurt because it's a dystopia novel. Nobody's getting hurt because there's vampires. It's really just about these two people falling in love. And boy, did I have a fun time.
I had such a good time. You could really tell that she sat with the characters and fleshed them out.
Yeah.
Laura knows this. I love to play the game of who's who when reading a book because I really like playing the who's who game when I'm in a relationship, when I'm dating, because I think there is a special kind of spirit and energy that each person brings to a relationship that can be kind of categorized. And it doesn't matter how different characters are, they embody that energy and that spirit. And I could really feel that with Henry and Alex. Like, I was like, oh, I know exactly who this person is, and who, if I saw, like, a couple in modern day, I could be like, that one's Henry, that one's Alex.
Yeah. No, they felt, I agree, they felt so fleshed out, and also just the overall just, like, pacing of their relationship felt very, like, believable, and something like that. If this was a real thing, like, this is the exact kind of steps in which it would take. It felt very organic. It felt not forced in any places, which I really enjoyed. And it's like, I think sometimes when like a romance book, it's like, okay, we know they're going to fall in love. And so it can get, I think, a little stale in that sense. But I never really felt that reading this. Like, I was just having fun the entire time, even though we obviously knew they were going to fall in love. The way she put them in scenarios and had them interacting, it was just a really a big joy to read, honestly.
I know. And so the movie was a really big thing last year. I didn't watch it. I waited until this to watch. But I didn't know a lot about Red, White, and Royal Blue going in. And I was a little bit nervous because Casey McQuiston, in the prologue, they wrote about how their writing style is very scattered and they are very ADHD. So... as a person who is like that, my writing I am always critical of, so I was like, oh, their writing is going to be all over the place. And it is disjointed, but I think it's disjointed in a way that flows, and it captures how quick life is. Not every moment is big.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I do think any sort of narrative writing style does need to be disjointed in a way, because it's like we don't need to check in with every single moment that these characters are going through. I think one of the best tools a writer can do is like, great, and we're just going to skip forward a few weeks. Nothing happened important, and we're just going to jump to the next important thing that's going to move the story forward, you know?
Speaking of jumping and moving the story forward... should we jump and
let's
move the story
jump in
forward?
Let's actually talk about the plot, because I feel like you and I could sit here for another 10 minutes and just be like yap
I agree. Love yapping.
Amazing. So first we are introduced to Alex, who is our main protagonist here. The story is third person, mostly through his point of view and how he's experiencing this relationship with Henry. He is the first son of the United States. He is 21, 22. He goes to Georgetown, but he still lives in the White House because I assumed that he's fiscally responsible and dorm housing is so expensive, especially in DC.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So he is going to Georgetown. He is a policy student, I believe. He wants to be a congressman, and his sister June is sort of a fashion blog person, but she really wants to do hard-hitting journalism, but obviously that's kind of a conflict of interest because she is the daughter of the president of the United States. So kind of in a middling career. I believe they mentioned she's at the Washington Post. Yeah. And we open on Alex and June are reading tabloids about themselves.
Yes.
One mentions...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was just going to say, I really enjoyed this scene because it told me exactly the life these two people have, that they're like in their 20s, they live in the White House, even though they don't have to, like they're not children anymore. And you can tell like their relationship is so close based on how they're interacting with each other, reading these tabloids. And we find out here that, Nora, who's the vice president's daughter, used to date Alex, and now they're just friends. But one of the tabloids they're reading is about him and Nora like going to a hotel where they just like pretended to have loud sex just so they would get a story written about them, which is so funny.
You gotta love them causing drama. So June mentions that they are heading to England for Prince Philip's wedding, and is kind of teasing Alex about it because Alex obviously doesn't want to go. June's like, oh, do you not want to go because your little arch nemesis Prince Henry is there? And it's not defined why Alex doesn't like Prince Henry, besides the preconceived notion that Prince Henry is a little bit snooty.
Yeah, it just seems like, you know, they're like similar aged boys in like this political sphere. Alex kind of, in my eyes, infers that he is snooty and feels like Prince Henry is disingenuous.
Yes, and there is a little bit of a small plot point that drives it, but not necessarily that much. But Alex was obviously born in Texas. His mother is the first, what we assume, female president, and his father, who immigrated from Mexico, so he's kind of the son of immigrant parents. And it seems like he doesn't like Henry because obviously Henry is a part of the monarchy, which is very Puritan, white, eugenics vibes.
Yeah, exactly. So much to Alex's dismay, him and his family have to go to England for a royal wedding. Prince Philip is going to get married. This is Henry's older brother. And it's noted that June doesn't have any like bad blood with the royal family. She's just there to have a good time. She gets to dance with Prince Henry and she's like, cool, he's hot, I'm in. Alex is immediately annoyed because of course his sister is interacting with this guy that he supposedly hates.
And Alex is kind of reminiscing on the first time he ever saw Henry in a tabloid. Seems like he felt sort of a crush on him, but obviously on the plane there, when everyone was teasing Alex, he was like, no, he's inbred and gross and bleh.
Yeah.
And this crush kind of eventually transformed into disdain when he meets him and realizes he's pretty boring.
Yeah. And at this wedding, Alex is gonna do what any of us would rightfully do at a royal wedding.
Absolutely.
He's gonna get rip-roaring drunk, and he's gonna confront Henry head-on with how much he doesn't like him. And this is where we get a little bit of personality from Henry, who we've been told this entire time is kind of a wet blanket, because Henry basically tells Alex that Alex is obsessed with Henry. He's like, dude, you're clearly obsessed with me, and Alex is not gonna stand for that.
No. So as Henry is turning to leave, Alex kind of grabs him at the last minute, and they both stumble into this cake that is stories high. And it's not only any cake, it is a $75,000 cake that they send crashing to the ground.
Oof. And they get covered in cake. Hilarious. Cameras are popping off. The next day, Ellen, the mom/president, not happy to hear the news that her son, who was just supposed to like show face, look good because she's on the brink of her next campaign for the next election, is causing a ruckus. So Zara, who is one of the PR people at the White House, is like, great, we've all been talking. The plan is for you and Henry to be friends to save ourselves in this scenario.
So Alex is going to head on over to England. He's going to hang out with Henry, prove they've been friends for a really long time. And he's getting ready for this by having his sister June and Nora kind of practice quizzing him on Henry facts.
Yep. And he gets to England. We meet Shan, who is one of like Henry's kind of, not like royal guards, but like I guess a royal guard, kind of like a Secret Service person explicitly for Henry. He gets to sign an NDA, and they basically go over the plan of like, your guys are going to go to the stables tonight, you're going to walk around, smile for a picture, you're going to go to the hospital tomorrow, you're going to smile for a picture, and you're going to go home. So like they have a clear-cut plan of how they're going to show the world that these two are friends and not cake destroyers.
And Henry immediately can keep up with Alex. He has this great line of how he'd rather be waterboarded than hang out with Alex, which America could certainly set up for him.
No, the scene is just so fun because it's like they're both smiling, obviously, because they know like their interactions being photographed the entire time, but they're being just such dicks to each other and being so mean. So it's just it's a very, very fun thing to read because they're just kind of trying to like outwit each other in mean ways.
And later that night, we get, to me, what reads as a little bit of a homoerotic scene where Henry's wandering the hall. He grabs some ice cream from Alex's fridge because he stores it in there. He's not used to people being there. And Alex posts a photo of Henry's hand, like, eating ice cream on Instagram, and is like, all right, we're starting our, like, first post showing that we're friendship. But if I saw, like, a late night post of, like, a hand, I don't know, I would immediately be like, okay, so it's a hard launch. This is a hard launch.
Hard launch. That's so funny. The next day they're gonna go do hospital time. They divide and conquer, talking to the children at the hospital. And towards the end of their visit, Alex does walk in on Henry, talking with a girl about Star Wars and just being a generally like good guy. And Alex is like, well, this is nice to see him interacting this way. But much to everyone's surprise, there's a gunshot that goes off in the hospital. So Shan immediately shoves Alex and Henry in a closet for a while.
They start fighting in this closet and eventually realize they're going to be locked in there for a bit. So they start chit-chatting about Star Wars. Henry's favorite Star Wars, I must note, is my favorite Star Wars, which is Return of the Jedi, because we are both romantics, which I adore. And Henry finally puts Alex in his place. He's like, why do you hate me so much? And Alex mentions an anecdote about asking, when Henry asked his bodyguard to get rid of Alex at the Olympics. And Henry's like, hey, my dad died a year prior. I was kind of an asshole to everyone, so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. So we're making some baby steps of progress. So maybe Alex is like, maybe Henry isn't that bad after all. Mm-hmm. We also know that this is kind of their goodbye of this initial PR stunt, but they both kind of realize like, oh, this isn't going to be a one-time thing. Like, we can't just pretend to be friends for a day. We have to pretend to be friends for a while. They exchange phone numbers, and Alex goes back to DC, where we are introduced to Senator Luna, who Alex really, really admires and looks up to and just seems to go visit from time to time. He had an internship with him prior. And I really like their interactions because it just seems like Alex just goes and bothers Senator Luna when Senator Luna's always like, I've got work to do. Please go hang out with someone your age.
And Luna is a pretty substantial character because he was running on an independent platform in Colorado, and it kind of alludes that he is a senator who, I mean, he is objectively gay, but that was a pretty turning point platform to run on in Colorado. A pretty liberal state, I'm not really sure why, but he is a gay senator, which adds to Alex and his relationship because Luna is kind of teasing him like, oh, do you have a crush on Henry? And Alex is like, no, shut up.
Never stop. That night, they're having family pizza dinner, and Ellen, the president, basically claims that she wants Alex and June and Nora to all be staffers for her campaign efforts that she's doing. She has jobs lined up for each of them. Very exciting because we know Alex especially wants a career in politics. Less exciting for June because she does not want a career in politics.
Exactly. Yeah, June's like, Mom, but I want to stay in journalism and be underappreciated and underpaid and feel like shit all the time. I'm speaking.
Yeah, and she's like, shut up. You'll write a blog for the campaign. Yeah, you ungrateful rich daughter. But after this is when Alex and Henry start texting for the first time. It's not immediate, they kind of start responding to each other as days pass, just little things here and there. And they're starting to get a little bit closer as time kind of progresses. We get a few little interactions of things.
Their texts are flirtatious. Oh my goodness. Henry is like, I saw this ugly picture of you in the tabloids. Alex is like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that you and your sister were dating. And it's just like really cute, funny
banter.
Henry lets slip he's trying to refuse his inheritance, which is huge, from the crown because it's genocide blood money. And Alex is like, oh, okay, so I know where this guy stands. And it's called standing on business.
Yeah, yeah. Henry makes it very clear that, like, he does not love this life. He would love to be able to support himself. That's kind of like his ultimate goal and dream. One night, this is before Thanksgiving, something happens with the White House turkeys that are supposed to be displayed for the annual White House turkey hunt, it seems. And Alex begs and pleads with his mother to let 2 giant turkeys stay in his room that night, which he immediately regrets. He's like, I don't know what I was trying to prove. Now these turkeys are in my room and they won't shut up. So he calls Henry for the first phone call, to basically just talk about, hey, there's turkeys in my room and I need to talk to somebody about it.
I just love, like, if my crush called me, I'm sorry, and was panicking because turkeys were in their room and they were like, do you want to hear them gobble? I would fall more in love. That is right up my alley.
Amazing. An amazing power move by Alex to really lock it in. And yeah, that's really what we get there. The next thing I have in my notes is we kind of jump to Christmas, which, again, I think I like in this style of romance where, again, it's not like they fall in love immediately. It is definitely over time, which I think I really appreciate.
Mm-hmm. So Christmas rolls around and Alex's dad, Oscar, is in town. He is kind of remembering a time when his parents weren't divorced, when work in Congress didn't really tear them apart. At this Christmas dinner table, they start fighting because Oscar wants to help on the campaign trail with Ellen, and she's like, that would look insane, bringing my divorced husband around. And Alex is really upset about this fight, so who does he go and call after it? He calls Henry.
Which, again, not an easy feat because there is a time difference. I want to say from DC to England, it's probably at least 5 hours. So they're definitely, making some conversations late into Henry's life. After they hang up, June also comes and checks on Alex just to make sure that he's okay. And then immediately in our story, we start planning for New Year's Eve. And June, playing little matchmaker,
Sneaky.
she's gonna be sneaky and she's gonna invite Henry without telling Alex.
So Henry is going to be coming with his friend Pez, who has the hots for Alex's sister, which that's great because that kind of opens lane for Henry and Alex to schmooze. At the New Year's Eve party, Alex is trying to teach Henry to lighten up and dance because Henry only knows waltz, really.
Yeah.
And
yeah, no, they have fun.
and Henry goes, oh my gosh, this line had me screaming. Henry's willingness to dance is proportionate to his proximity to Alex's hands. That, I was like, this is a hot sentence.
But Alex and things with Henry, like, in this time frame are still very, not super flirty when there's lots of people around. Like, they're interacting, they're having fun, a little bit flirty, but not too flirty. And Alex has been, like, watching Henry this entire night and notices that, like, Henry's really watching Alex the entire night, too. Like, no matter where they end up, they kind of seem to always kind of be looking towards the other person. Alex decides to kiss Nora at midnight, and Henry disappears immediately after seeing that. So Alex is going to go look for Henry to be like, well, where'd this guy go? I had eyes on him all night. I kissed a girl for 2 seconds, and now he's gone. And he finds Henry just kind of brooding in the garden.
Yes, and Alex does not understand why Henry is throwing a temper tantrum, and he's trying to get to the bottom of this. They start talking about their love lives. Alex is like, why don't you date? And Henry says, my options don't really count, and Alex cannot for the life of him
He's like, you are the most eligible bachelor ever. You could literally just, like, pick anybody to date. What are you talking about?
Alex's brain is like reading the Da Vinci Code upside down mode.
Yeah.
And Henry is like, Jesus, you're so thick. And he kisses him.
And Alex likes it. And instead of doing what a normal person would do and kind of maybe dissecting what just happened live, Henry runs away.
Which
he bolts,
I
which makes
get
perfect
it.
sense. That's a huge thing to do in their world where they're very public figures and always being watched. I imagine it's very, very scary to be in that scenario where you're not really being secret about it. You're at a party. You don't know how this person feels about you. People don't know that you are gay. Of course, Henry runs off after.
Oh, yeah. It's normal as a gay person to be afraid to take that chance. I can't even imagine being in public office. So
yeah.
Henry runs.
Hey, being gay is hard, but being gay in public office is harder.
Exactly. And like, yes, I don't know what it is, but if someone wants to elect me so I can find out and maybe have a stable income, like, I'm open to those things. You can elect me to public
Somebody
office.
just has to let Meggie try. That's all we're asking.
Just let me try.
Just let me try. Just let Meggie try.
So Henry flees. Alex is calling Henry to no avail, no pickup. And Alex is like, okay, but like, let's do some self-reflection for a minute. Pause. I can't be gay. I've never thought about this that long. If I want to be a congressman in Texas, that might not work. Like, I can't be gay.
My favorite thing is Alex is like, I can't stop thinking about this kiss with this boy, but I can't be gay. But there was also my best friend from middle school that I would spend hours making out with. And that's not a gay thing. Is that a gay thing? And he calls this friend Liam to be like, Liam, was that a gay thing? And Liam's like, I can't speak for you, but I'm definitely gay, so do with that information what you will.
Yeah, I know. Nora also kind of points out that Alex cannot stop panicking, and she's like, listen, it's your turn to reach out. Like, he made the first move. You gotta decide if you like him or not, because he's probably sitting over there panicking, like, I just kissed a straight guy, and I don't know what he's gonna do with that fact. Like,
yeah. No, and Nora's like, it's very obvious to me that Henry is gay. I think you need to figure it out. The next day, Alex sees a tabloid with Henry and a blonde girl, so now Alex is like, what the fuck is this? Why would he be doing that? Because all I'm doing is thinking about kissing him.
But Henry cannot avoid Alex for long because there is a state dinner in America he has to attend coming up, and Alex tells Nora to just get me a minute alone with that guy.
Yeah, and so there's basically like kind of two phases to this dinner, almost like a cocktail hour and then a formal dinner in the red room. And basically right before the one event ends and people are going to move into the red room, Alex has enlisted the help to get people, him and Henry, in this room alone for 5 minutes. So they lock them in there. They're like, you have 5 minutes, have fun. And they immediately just start aggressively making out in this area where everybody is about to be.
I'm pretty sure they like knock a portrait of Alexander Hamilton off the wall too or something.
Yeah, no, it is hot, it is heavy, and then eventually somebody knocks on the door. They're like, your 5 is up, okay, people are coming, they can hear the footsteps. And then Alex panicked, is like, meet me in my room at 11 p.m. tonight.
He says, meet me in my room at 11 p.m. tonight. I'm going to do very bad things to you, and if you ghost me again, I'll put you on the no-fly list. I'm sorry. What a powerful sentence.
I mean, maybe that's like the also a hot thing about the relationship is how much powerful they are individually.
Yes, absolutely. So Henry shows up to, oh my God, you're so right. Henry shows up to Alex's room. Alex is teasing
5 minutes
him.
before 11 because he's punctual.
He's punctual. And Alex is teasing him, kissing, going, why'd you ghost me? And Henry was like, I'm gay. The girl in the magazine clearly means nothing to you. And I thought you wanted me to kiss you, but I wasn't sure. And so I got jealous when I saw you kissing Nora on New Year's Eve.
Exactly. So they're having a heart to heart. They're having a hand job to hand job scenario.
Henry spits on his hand. That was so hot to me, and I was like, "Oh, it's hand job time."
Yeah, no, and then they really just keep going. This is a long scene. It's not just like hand job, we go to bed.
No,
it's
we
like
go to
hand
head
job
next.
Yeah, we're gonna move to head next. Alex is gonna give him a blowjob for the first time ever, which they talk about. Henry's gonna return the favor, and then after they both like finish, they're like, "So, can't have a sleepover because we're two of the most powerful 20-somethings in the world."
This scene was so hard for me to watch. I had to put my book down so many times because my clit was like on fire, and then I had to like I had to walk up and down my halls because I was like, the tension had built so much. I was like, this is so hot. What the fuck? So after Alex is like, hey, listen, has that panic moment where he's like, I'm bi. Just so you know, I'm bi. And Henry's like, that's okay. I am very gay.
Yeah. Henry's like, I must emphasize what I've already said. I'm just gay. Very, very gay.
And Alex is like, could we maybe incorporate blowjobs into hangouts? Ooh, woo. Henry's like, yeah, that sounds great to me.
Yeah. So basically their friendship bargain has turned into we are going to be friends who kiss and do blowjob things sometimes. The next time they see each other is 2 weeks later when Henry invites Alex to a polo match. So Alex is rip-roaring right on that plane to get there. And after Henry wins his polo match, they go to meet at the stables and hook up in a closet there while reporters wait outside.
Yeah, and on the way over there, Alex is explaining to June, he's like, no, I gotta go hang out with Henry. And June's like, you've won them over from the cake incident. They're writing fan fiction about you guys now. You're fine. You don't have to pretend you're friends. I think the people know.
He's like, no, I think we really need to keep pretending that we're friends. It's better to really sell that we're friends. I'm going to go hang out with him. You can't come. You have to stay here. This is a me thing.
So after they hook up in the stables afterwards, they're emailing back and forth tauntingly about when they're going to see each other next. Henry has a summit in Germany. Alex is a fundraiser in Paris. So Henry's going to scoot on over to Paris after this.
Yeah, no, he doesn't scoot over. He actually gets out of his fundraiser in Germany. He makes up an excuse to go get some dick in Paris.
I think they mentioned at one point that Henry is a Pisces, and I was like, ugh, yeah. He would.
Oh, absolutely.
He would absolutely be like, I can't go to Germany, I have to follow my heart. So he's drunk, spending the night at Alex's hotel.
Which, dangerous. They agreed. Sleepovers were bad.
This is when we figure out that Henry's a Pisces and Alex is an Aries.
Yeah. But to their good fortune, the world is just like, these guys are just broing out so hard. That's awesome. And then we get some more just kind of pinpointed hangouts, like they meet in New York once, and Henry gets to download Snapchat. There's more banter back and forth as the weeks and months continue. Alex starts learning about gay history. And he's starting to,
he starts reading really Walt Whitman, which was when I was like, why did I not piece together in college that I was gay? Because I could not stop reading Walt Whitman. He does. Alex at one point has a hickey on his neck too, and Zara's get it the fuck together, dude.
Zara's literally like, dude, hide that shit. That could fuck the campaign up. We shouldn't be talking about your hickey. We gotta be talking about your mom. Zara's such a fun character too. She's just such a hard ass all of the time, and it's so funny.
I know. So they exchanged this late night intimate phone call. Henry seems a little bit off. Alex is like, you can tell me things, you can open up to me, because he kind of anticipates and knows that Henry has these big mood swings.
Yeah.
And Henry's like, I'm not really great at talking. And Alex is like, well, I wasn't really great at blowjobs. And Henry says, your first one was very enthusiastic, at least, which killed me. Alex is calling him baby on the phone, which I had to note too.
Exactly. But Henry does take the bait. He's going to open up to Alex. So he kind of talks about things that are on his mind, that his sister, had went to rehab for cocaine, and that his sister's really the only one that knows he's gay. And also just how much the death of his father still weighs on him, and what a great person his dad was. And that's just a permanent kind of fixture of grief that he has.
Yeah, and it really impacted the family in horrible ways. I mean, the sister, Laura mentioned, had a cocaine problem. There was, one time in a club where she was essentially killing herself on the stuff, and Henry had to go get her at 18 years old, and that was when she went to rehab. And Henry also says his grandma says he cannot be out. She has an inkling of an idea.
Yeah.
And
she basically said, you have to stick to the family plan. She didn't explicitly say that he was gay, then she knows he's gay. She basically just implied that if there was something different about him, things would be very, very bad. But at the end of this conversation, they both say they miss each other and that they're not seeing anybody else.
Crazy. So Alex goes from the high of this phone call to getting in a fight with his sister, because his sister's like, listen, I know what you're doing. I know you're fucking Henry, and I think he's your match. He's smart. He can keep up with you in a way that no one else can. Maybe there's more than one dream for you than being a politician here, because you can have him. And Alex is like, be for fucking real. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's like, you think I can be a politician who's also dating the Prince of England? What a concept, June.
I know.
But either way, cat's out of the bag. Now 7 people know this secret, which is a lot of people. But given the circumstances of how many moving pieces there are, it makes sense. And it's honestly shocking there's not more by this point.
Mm-hmm. We get an aside that Henry's best friend Pez mentions to Alex's sister June that Henry used to whine about Alex not noticing him in the past, which cute.
Very
Love
funny.
that it's reciprocal. Alex does graduate college, and there is an introduction of a new plotline where this alt-right Republican who will be running against Alex's mom in the next presidential debate. Alex overhears his dad talking with Luna, the Colorado senator, and from this I did not really understand, but it kind of seemed like the alt-right Republican did something to Luna as a kid.
I read this scene a couple times because I was like, it's so ambiguous. And then I finally was like, oh, it's supposed to be very ambiguous and we're not supposed to get exactly what's going on here. All we just know is that Luna and Dad are talking and Richards clearly did something that is bad. We don't know what. We're going to get the payoff later. But now that as many people know about the whole Alex and Henry situation, they're going to do a hangout with everybody who knows in LA. And it's really cute. Pez gets everybody like kimonos that all have like a cute little nickname embroidered on them. They just get drunk and do karaoke. They all have like 3 hotel rooms on the same floor. And it's a fun time.
Alex gives Henry head in the bathroom, and very notable moment, Alex does actually fuck Henry for the first time.
Yeah,
and
Henry Bottoms.
And Henry Bottoms, which could have predicted.
Of course he did, yeah.
Alex is realizing he's in over his head. He's thinking about wanting to see Henry's morning routine all the time. Henry's sending him really cute emails about missing him. It's just, it's snowballing.
Things are snowballing, absolutely. Henry does invite Alex to Wimbledon, and because they have like a whole royal box there. So Alex, of course, is going to go and say, June, nor you guys can't come. This is a me thing. And Philip, the prince who got married earlier in the book, is also there. He's being a huge dick. So they're going to rage hook up in a closet to get back at Philip, which I think is a appropriate response, absolutely.
Yeah, because Philip's implying the worst shit. Obviously, he's like, you need more buff guy friends. How are you ever going to find a wife?
Yeah, boo.
Everyone's intuitive, but
boo.
Whereas Alex's intuitive family is responding pretty positively, Henry's,
Henry's got a lot of weight on his shoulders because his family sucks. But they go back to Henry's apartment afterwards, and they're like, what a stressful day. Let's have sex again. So they do that. And Alex really does feel a little bit over his head at this point. He's like, things are definitely changing. They're not as casual as they once were. I'm very much developing real feelings, and he can't sleep because he has a lot on his mind.
Even worse, at the DNC, they're stressed because they figure out that Luna, the independent senator from Colorado, is Richard's running mate, which is going to push his voting audience a little bit farther left, which is not good.
Not good at all. Henry does meet Alex at a bar so they can talk about it at a hotel during the DNC. So they're just supporting each other, which is great. But the next morning, this is ruined because Zara is going to find out that Alex and Henry are actively hooking up.
For 7 months.
And she is pissed.
He asks her, Zara, please don't tell my mom. I haven't come out yet. They're trying to keep this under wraps until, I guess, after the election.
Yeah.
And after the DNC happens, Alex does come out and makes a PowerPoint basically his mom makes a PowerPoint informing him he can't use federal funds to travel and see Henry, which makes sense.
I know, my favorite thing about this is he's like, okay, very normal kid mom thing on my gay journey. I'm going to come out. I'm going to say I'm dating this guy. And she's like, we need to talk about this. She sends him a calendar invite for like a 2 p.m. admin meeting on like your gayness and you and the family and the campaign. And they have to like go through like different factors of like, how does this affect the campaign? How does this affect the presidency? But also like, how can you have safe sex? Exactly. So it's like she is sprinkling those just like mom things in there, which I think was hilarious.
She does mention as a parting notion that he needs to figure out if Henry is forever because he's risking a ton here.
Yeah.
So Alex is kind of confined to his room. He's emailing Henry all the time because he is grounded, sort of.
Yeah.
And he asks Henry if he would want to join on their weekend trip to his dad's place in Texas.
Yeah, and Henry says yes. So everyone's going to go hang out at Alex's dad's place in Texas. And Oscar really likes Henry. He really likes that they're together. Like, he has no qualms. He's, like, very, like, in on it. Like, dude, I know what's going on. I like Henry, and I think you really like Henry too, and I don't think you should pretend that you don't. And this is kind of the push that Alex needs to realize that he truly is in love with this person.
Yep. Later that night, they're listening to June play guitar. He's like, he's worth it. He's worth the risk. So they're going skinny dipping, and Alex is gearing up for a long monologue about how, hey, we'll come out to Texas next year. Just planning in the future, which is always a scary thing. And as Alex is about to say he loves Henry, Henry just jumps off the dock, dips into the water, tries to nonchalantly change the convo.
So bad. And Alex can immediately tell, like, something's off. This is confirmed because Henry is gone the next morning. Just disappeared with a note, was like, sorry, had to go tend to business. Bye. And then Henry's full on ghosted. Like, he's not returning texts, calls, anything. And Alex is really stressed about this. He's like, was like, I only feeling this? Was this not like as important to him? He finds a note in like some like desk that he has or something. I forget where the note was, but from Henry to him that basically summarizes a Greek myth about two gay boys that were in love and talking through a wall to each other. Alex later like incorrectly thought this was like a metaphor of like, I need to go speak to him. But we learn later from Henry, it's like, oh, this is a Greek tragedy. They both die at the end. Like, it wasn't a romantic thing.
No. So Alex takes this as his cue. He books a flight to London to chew Henry out because Henry's obviously not responding to him.
Yeah.
And Alex, he bursts through past the security. He like gets in the dead of night. And Henry's like, fine, let him up. You can say this one thing and then I want you to leave. And Alex says, I love you. Henry's like, do you even know what that Greek monologue like means?
Yeah.
They both die. Like, I knew I loved you early on and I just kind of was hoping that you would get sick of me eventually.
Yeah. He was like, I really hoped that I could, just have you even for a moment. But knowing that the reality is my birthright is running this country. And that doesn't line up with me being gay and happy and in love. Like, I can't have both.
And so Alex checkmates him. He's like, you know what? Fine. If you want me to leave, you have to tell me yourself. And Henry starts crying. And he's like, I can't say that. And of course they do have sex. And Alex studies his face because he's like, I don't want to miss it this time. It's too important. And Alex wakes up to just a completely new Henry. Henry is fucking chipper as hell in the morning.
Whew, yeah, I know. We do get a kind of like the Uno reverse here because Alex first wakes up and notices he's alone, and we're like, oh no, did Henry run away again? Henry's just making coffee for the boys. Henry waltzes back in, and he's like, I slept on it, not giving up. Okay, we're good. You fucked me into realizing that this is it. So Henry's on board now with the relationship. So they're going to keep hanging out. They go to sneak out of Henry's room at 2 a.m. to go to one of the museums, like a royal museum. And they talk, and Henry gives Alex his signet ring.
Yes, Henry's like, I always wanted to bring someone I loved here. And then they're kind of like, it's a really beautiful moment where they're like holding each other and they're dancing very close. And they keep mentioning all of these old gay couples in a lot of different mythology and religions. Yeah. They mentioned David and Jonathan, which gave me so much fucking glee because I always fought my religion teachers that they were gay in the Bible. So David and Jonathan mentioned. And when Alex goes back to the States, God, they're so fucking gay. He's quoting Vita West's letters to Virginia Woolf in the emails, and they start kind of like doing a back and forth, which I really fucking love stylistically, of historically pulling lines from letters shared between secret gay lovers, either politicians or authors, and like signing off their emails with that. So
it's really cute. Yeah, so we get like a good 10 pages of back and forth emails, which I also think was such a good way to demonstrate their connection over time, just because, again, like, they don't get to hang out all the time. So we learn a lot of key things here that Henry mentions that, it's kind of a part of the deal of being a royal guy, that you gotta enlist. And, that obviously worries Alex, because, like, what does that mean? He also, at some point, tells Philip that he is gay and how poorly it went. So there's lots of little things that we're learning about what's going on behind the scenes through these emails.
Yeah, it does go on for a while. Henry is mentioning that he kind of wants to go to New York, maybe station there long term, because his best friend Pez has this LGBTQ center that is like a nonprofit for homeless queer teenagers set up there. And I mean, now that they've like fucking kicked the birdcage open, they are just like sending back and forth like, I never thought you would love me back. Your love has set me on fire. And it's so sweet until there's a huge moment that stops it in its tracks, where Zara mentions that there's leaked footage showing them at the hotel at the DNC.
Yeah, nothing too incriminating. It's just that they're like being very close at this hotel. June comes up with the idea that she could be a beard in this scenario. So they basically all have a conversation with Henry and them, and Henry agrees that let's do this. So June posts a picture of her and Henry to kind of do a pretend launch of their relationship. And so now everybody's obsessed with this, which really does water down that photo from the DNC when it comes to the press.
So Henry comes to DC to go on a date with June. A little bit after this, they do a little bait and switch car moment where Alex shows up and Henry's jumps in his car, and Henry's just like, I don't really want to do this. And Alex is like, it's okay. We'll fight it. We'll come out eventually. Someday we'll go down in history. And they do kiss in the car, which Alex notes at the time might not be the smartest thing, because he's not sure if the front windshield is see-through or not.
Yeah, but before Alex can think more about this, he's going to go have a fight with Luna. It's very much like how could you do this? Like, what are you standing for? Why would you work with Richards? And Luna's like, you don't understand why I'm doing this. I don't think you'll ever understand. So Luna's being very standoffish. So that doesn't really go anywhere. It's just a very stressful fight between the two of them, and Alex kind of pleading for like an actual answer so he could try to understand. We get some more emails exchanged back and forth, but very quickly, one morning, the press has released a picture of Henry and Alex kissing in the back seat. It is true, the windshield was not tinted. What's worse is somebody has leaked their emails too.
I was so devastated. I was like,
I knew it was going to happen. I knew it, but I was like, maybe it won't. I got to a point that I was like, maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just be emails. And then when they got leaked, I was like, dang it, of course they did.
So Alex is being taken to talk to his mom to run some serious damage control. And she sends everyone out. It's a very harrowing moment where he is like so nervous that she is just going to be businesswoman. And she's just like, are you okay? And he just like breaks in a way that I feel like hasn't really happened yet. He's crying. He's so shaken up.
Yeah, no, and it's like, and it's so clear that Alex is most shaken up just for Henry's sake, because he knows Henry did not want anything like this to happen.
I really love this moment because his mom is like, I am a mother first, and if you're serious about Henry, I will back you up. And he says, yeah, he's forever for me. So she's gonna ride.
Yeah, she's going to ride. I really do like that she calls out that she feels like she hasn't been much of a mom lately. She's been too focused on the campaign. So she's going to she's going to stand up now and not make that take a back seat. So Zara, she's going to come and be her hard-ass self. She's going to take Alex to London so everybody can get in a room and hash it out and figure out what this means, what's going to happen. Zara is able to get Henry and Alex on the phone together and just basically use her badass powers to basically bully people into getting these two people on the phone. And Zara has a really sweet thing where she says that she's rooting for them, which is like you don't really expect from Zara because she's so business all the time, which I thought was really sweet.
She does mention in like one fellow swoop that not only is she rooting for them, she's also engaged to Henry's security detail, Sean.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've apparently been dating and they're engaged. And it's like, what?
So they get to London. Henry's a little drunk mess with his sister Bay kind of protecting him. And details were also leaked about her coke problem, obviously, in the
because they were in the emails.
Yeah.
But Bee's handling it pretty well. She's like, hey, it happened. Like, can't really hide it. Henry falls asleep while Alex is there. And so Alex and Bee just get to talk kind of about everything that's going on and kind of talk about Henry as a person and how Henry like copes with stress, especially now that his father isn't around to kind of be here through all of this hardship, which is really sweet.
It is really sweet. She talks about like trauma at a young age, obviously impacting your brain more. Like if you lost a parent, it just completely changes you as a person, and says that he is the most loving, nurturing, selfless person, but there is a sadness and a hurt in him that is tremendous. You may not understand it, but you need to love it as much as you love him, because that's him. And that was really sweet. And this is when, of course, like after something so well written and beautiful, Philip bursts in to reiterate that Henry is a tremendous fuck up. How embarrassing for this legacy.
Yeah, it's time for the family to really come and have a conversation about all of this. Philip's being a huge dick. Henry stands up for himself, though, which is great.
Exactly.
Because,
he's like, what are we even defending with this country? Race?
Yeah.
Colonizing? And I'm a poof? I love calling him a poof.
Yeah. No, Henry threatens to abdicate, and Philip's like, you wouldn't dare. And he's like, wouldn't I? Like, the only other history of abdication on, like, our family is, like, the guy who was a Nazi. I think me being gay is a little bit better than that, so.
Exactly. So they're going to talk to the queen. Henry's mom, who has been pretty absent since the death of her husband, is going to finally show up and try to fight with the queen, which I adore. Yeah, fight your fucking mom.
Yeah.
Fight your mom. That's the takeaway.
Yeah, so the queen, she's going to show up. Queen Mary, she's a bitch.
I do love this. Queen Mary's like, I've heard AI is a thing and they can fabricate things. Is that what happened?
No, she has like she basically describes the concept of Photoshop, that Photoshop, like, they could just blame this all on like somebody Photoshopped it together, and basically emphasizing that that's what she wants, is us to say that all these photos are doctored. And mom comes in, Henry's mom, and is like, Counter, what if we didn't and just kind of let it be a thing? And there's more fighting. And the mom does threaten to go to like the royal court and tell them that the grandmother is not fit to be a leader of the country anymore. So things are getting tense and dramatic.
I know. She is like, hey, grandma, isn't your like memory pretty bad, and isn't that linked to like dementia? I was like,
yeah,
okay.
I know, because like the grandmother goes like, I've been ruling for 47 years, and mom's like, don't you think that's a little much? Don't you think that if we really pointed out that you might be deteriorating mentally, that everybody would agree that 47 years is a little too long? Wouldn't everybody think that?
And in the middle of this, I mean, really intense argument, it kind of, the BBC comes out at that moment to say that like worldwide support is happening for Henry and Alex's relationship, kind of across the board. People are convening in New York, outside DC. There's people cheering outside Buckingham in free Henry t-shirts.
Yeah, like I think it's the mom, or maybe it's B. They like open the curtains to the room that they're in. You can just see like all of the people outside support of this, which is really sweet and cute.
And the moment I returned my book, so I don't have it, and I really want to read it, which is sad. But there's a moment where Alex is on his way back to the airport, and he sees a mural on a building of him as Han and Henry as Leia.
Just cute.
Leia, a rebel and a royal. And he tweets the photo and he says, "Never tell me the odds," which I thought
so cute.
So sweet.
So back at the White House, the plot keeps plotting here. We really get like a push for these last 40 pages. So Nora has been sent secretly a like export of all of Richard's like campaign efforts emails, and she was able to write a code to basically analyze the contents of them, and basically got confirmation that the Richards campaign and the RNC is what outed Alex and Henry, and also got their emails. So that's what was happening there. But we also get revealed that Luna was the one who sent the emails to Nora. So we kind of get the payoff that Luna joined the Richards campaign because he knew what the Richards campaign was trying to do to Alex, and he cares about Alex so much that he didn't want this to be bad for him.
Yes, so Luna is going to obviously be protected by Alex's family because that's a huge no-no. Alex does give a speech later on with Henry by his side because, I mean, they have to fucking make a statement at some point. And he truly knocks it out of the park. I think my standout line from this speech was, every person who bears a legacy makes the choice of a partner whom they will share it with, and he is my choice, and history will remember us.
That's so cute. And Luna, at this moment, is back with the Claremont campaign officially. And in the aftermath of this speech, Luna has a moment with Alex where he discusses what actually went down with him and Richards, and really talks about when Luna was Alex's age and interning for Richards. Richards had asked Luna to get like a drink after work one day, and Luna felt so just like, yeah, I have to say yes to this. He's the person in power. And Richards got Luna to come back to his like hotel room and tried to have sex with him. Luna was able to get away, but Richards kind of threatened him if he ever told anybody this story. So Luna always felt like even during his senatorship as an adult that Richards had just all of this kind of power over him still. So this is a way for him to take back that as well.
Yeah, he was kind of like, I can't let a predator be president. So he was just hoping to join his campaign, finding anything that like indicted him of abusing children.
Yeah.
So yeah, Alex's family is going to protect Luna because if Richards comes for Luna, that's not going to be good.
Nope. And then we get a kind of a 4 weeks later aftermath for these final 20-ish pages. Alex is getting courtship photos done at in England. We get some more aftermath. Things are going really well for everybody, which I love. We love like a gay story that isn't like ending and like somebody dies, you know? And everybody just gets to be happy because B is going to do like a professional concert. Philip has apologized and seemed like he's trying to make things right, which is really nice. Nora and Alex start to talk about going to law school together, maybe in New York, because Henry's talking about going to New York, so we could kind of get an extra chapter from them. Mm-hmm. June also gets a book deal, which she's really excited about. Everything's really working out for everybody.
Everything's showing up. And Alex is kind of nervous because he's still got to do this like coming home tour of Texas after coming out, because the presidency, despite Richards being a fucking asshole, as we know, doesn't really matter with an alt-right Republican. It's not won yet. It might actually be worse because now her son is gay. And Nora says, like, do not worry, Alex. Like, you're doing fine. People are going to be mad at Richards for coming for a Texas kid, which hopefully, she's like, I think that you're just nervous because you just went through huge trauma. And it's kind of like, you know, a very joyful moment because he's found this part of himself, but also he's like mourning because he's still holding on to the stream of being like young and in Congress, but this will probably put him back a little bit because once you're out, there's still so much prejudice to overcome. Yeah. So, he's gonna do the lawyer route. He's gonna fight discrimination, and then later on, he's like, maybe I'll run for president. Go off.
Yeah, go off, King. But it's election day that has rolled around, and we get a lot of good pacing moments here to kind of move it along quickly, but also kind of emphasize the stakes here.
Yeah,
they're talking a lot
Pennsylvania,
about
which is huge.
Yeah, they're talking about the states that they have, how many more states they need to get. Will they get Texas? Henry's running late because there's bad weather, but everybody gets to join together when Texas finally shows blue, which is a really big thing for them, and that's enough to let Ellen win the presidency. And then everybody gets to celebrate that Alex and Henry get to be together. The president gets 4 more years. Everybody kind of got their little happy ever after. Very cute and sweet.
Yeah, Henry's favorite movie is In the Mood for Love, which I added as like a last moment note for when we sign off. And, you know, Henry and Alex are just going to kind of vibe out in their brownstone in Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's just cute. It's a very sweet and cute book. I love one-off books like this because there's no sequel to set up for. It's like we just get to know that these people get to be happy.
I did love it, and I loved in the epilogue, because now I'm just such a Casey McQuiston fan. I also read her new book, The Pairing, too, in like 2 days.
Yeah.
That she mentioned that she started writing this book during 2016 to kind of deal with the 2016 election, and writing it had moments of like, this is so dumb, no one's gonna like it, because clearly you see people hate you on Maine, like with how the past 8-ish years have gone for politics. And she just kind of kept writing it as like an escapism thing. And it's such a lovely book, and I think it's a lovely book because Casey, they kind of acknowledge that like it is escapism, and this didn't happen, but it was something I could throw myself fully into as a means of coping. And I really feel like I don't know, I liked this book a lot because I feel like there were like parts of it that you could heal alongside to, which is just like, it does exist, and it's hard and it's messy, but like we know that, and the moments where we touch down and kind of sit with that like homophobia, they aren't too long, but you know the scope and the weight of them. I loved this. I fucking loved this book.
No, this book was so well done. It was so fun. It's so digestible. It's so interesting. It's so captivating. I think this was a really, really great read for us. Now I have to go and actually watch the movie. I like had started it at one point, and then I got busy and forgot to finish it. So now I can go back and finally watch the movie.
Yeah, I feel like I have to too. I also just Googled Casey's pronouns are they them. So I apologize for that. I thought it was she they. But, yes, the movie was fucking, oh God, the movie's so good too. It's a little bit Lifetimey, but I think that it works out. So.
Well, yeah. And I mean, in a way, the story's a little Lifetimey because, again, it's just like, it's a romance and everything's kind of just like happy and kind of a little bit larger than life, like what like an escapist plot, but we have to love it.
I think, like, oh my God, and like rereading this, I was like, God, I really am a romance person, and they do queer romance so well, and like, I will bring up The Pairing really quick. They kind of like tackled, because one of the characters, I think is she, they, I think, or maybe they're just strictly non-binary, but they talk about gender a lot in that one too, that I fucking loved and really empathized with, and I just like I queer authors are the fucking greatest, and I'm so happy. Maybe someday we can talk to Casey. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Get them on our podcast.
Casey, email us.
But
we'll have to check our inbox to see if one of the emails we've been avoiding is from Casey, because we never know.
I wish. I'm gonna start cold calling their PR publicist.
We'll just tweet at Casey every day until they come on the podcast.
I think they have a lesbian love story too, which I'm like, I gotta fucking check out. But so anyways, I guess that's Red, White, and Royal Blue.
That's Red, White, and Royal Blue. We were red, we were white, we were royal blue. And everybody lived happily ever after, including us and our podcast. Which we will be back in a little bit with an actual full season again. We're still going to read the My Lady Jane series, which we are very excited about. We are disappointed to hear that Amazon canceled the show, which we will talk at length about during next season.
We're fingers crossed. We're fingers crossed, though, because George R.R. Martin just said bring it back. And if one person has power, it's that fucking guy. And if George R.R. Martin
loved that series, that's amazing. That's amazing. No, in no mind would I think George R.R. Martin, who's just like an old white male, is like, I want My Lady Jane back. But I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like unexpected but amazing that he's so supportive of the fantasy genre, and also was watching this like very like romance fantasy series and vibing with it. So we will see you when we see you for My Lady Jane, and it will come out sometime in spooky October. Spooky October time. Woo! And until then, we love you. We love you. Email us, Meggie and Laura present@gmail.com. We love you. Bye. Bye.